Gentlemen, third place in the race for Maverick Vinales, second Alex Rins, and the race winner here today in Assen, Marc Marquez. Wow, guys, what a show you all put on for us today. I haven't even brought any notes because I don't know what to bring. It was just jaw-dropping. Thank you for the entertainment. Mark, we have to start with you. What a race. They're the sort of races that you dream of winning, and we could see your emotion. It was just a fabulous, fabulous race. So much happening. You must have enjoyed that a lot.
Of course. I don't know how to describe. I mean, it was a crazy race. I mean, it was like a big group of wilds there in fighting against everybody, and yeah, it was amazing. I mean, the conditions were very difficult on the racetrack because the wind was pushing a lot, and all the back straight, all the fast corners. When you were behind somebody, was easier and was so difficult to open a gap. But then especially Lorenzo was pushing a lot. I tried to overtake him, but he overtook me immediately, and then I was not able to keep the rhythm or to have the same rhythm like in the practice. But then I said, okay, we wait, and behind this, in the middle, between this transition, we were we have many moments with Rins, with Maverick, with everybody. We were fighting against everybody, and in the end, I was clever. I was just waiting, and when I see L7, L6, I say, okay, now I give everything. I will push all what I have. I will use all the tire, and yeah, I was able to open a gap. And then when I see plus 0.2 was good because then I was able to do my lines. I mean, the problem is that here when you just try to use your lines to be fast, you prepare a lot the corner, and then everybody was overtaking you. But then when I see that small advantage, I say, okay, now it's time to use my lines, and then I was able to have the same pace like in the practice.
Talk to us about the moment as well on the exit of turn 5. I mean, there was overtakes going on everywhere, but how you stayed on the bike, nobody knows.
I don't know, even me, because I just see a photo and it was crazy. I remember that, okay, Rins, we have a contact, he touched me, but in the end was my mistake, because I was upside. And then when you're upside, you need to understand that who is inside have the advantage. And then just, I was there and I had the contact, and just I nearly fall down from the bike. I mean, the left foot, the left hand, even the clutch level was down there in the middle of the straight. I was trying to adjust, and it was crazy. But yeah, after that moment, then also with the Maverick, another moment in turn 9 that we have a contact, and I released completely the brake because I had a contact in the right arm, and I was out of the track. So it was difficult to manage, but in the end we were very smart, very focused, and so precise.
And on top of all the emotion and the brilliant race, and obviously capturing victory, the championship is the next thing you have to look at, and so important for you. You take a really, really comfortable lead into a circuit that you love.
Yeah, of course, here I expect that maybe Valentino and Viñales will be very strong. But they were strong, but we were stronger. So this was the most important. In a circuit that normally we struggle a little bit, we were stronger than them. And when I crossed the finish line, the adrenaline was there. But then when I check the big screen and I see Rins second, I was even happier because you know, then I had the advantage is even bigger, and this is something that we need to take profit.
Well done. Thanks very much for the fantastic show. Alex, your best finish in Motogp, and we could see your emotion down in Parc Fermé. You've been a part of one of the Motogp classics today.
Yeah, it was incredible for me. I think the hardest race of my life in MotoGP. You know, I give my best. We know since yesterday that will be a very difficult race with a lot of riders on the front, but we managed very well. On the middle of the race, I was trying to push, and 10 laps to the end, I think I was 4th or 5th, and the first group gone a little bit. And I was trying to keep my rhythm, trying to catch them, because I know I was able to finish on the podium, no? But you know, I overtake a lot. I enjoy it, this race.
A few moments with Mark into turn 5. I mean, there were moments everywhere with every single rider. It was so hard. 6 different leaders in the race. Talk to us about those moments into turn 5.
Well, it was incredible because 2 or 3 laps before I overtake Mark, I saw him very strong on that corner, no? And I was feeling great. I was feeling good. and I think why not, no? So I release brakes and I overtake him. But on the next lap he overtake me, so I was saying, wow, will be a fantastic race, you know. But also in the end with Maverick, also with every rider, with Dovizioso, I enjoy it a lot.
Thanks very much, Alex, and well done. Finally, on to Maverick Vinales. I guess it's always disappointing that you're not on the top step, but a remarkable race, and obviously your first podium since Austin, and it must be very pleasing for you. You got away from the line well, and once you got to the front group, you really put on a show for us. You were incredibly fast, particularly around turn 7, 8, and 9. Wow, just incredible.
Yeah, nice race, nice race. Unluckily, I went out in the last laps, and I could not fight for the win. But anyway, I'm happy. We recovered a lot of confidence in that weekend. Especially, we worked really well for the race. Still, the bike needs to improve, especially on the electronic. It was good to be with the fast guys today because I know the point to improve. And I think our bike is on a good level. Honestly, on chassis, I think we are really good. Honestly, in the fast corner, I felt great. Just we need to improve a little bit the electronic. We are coming on the good way, but still there is a lot of work to do. So I'm happy that we was there, even if the bike is not at the maximum yet.
And on a full tank at the start, you were a lot stronger here today as well. Do you think that can now give you the confidence moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. I felt good. I felt good with full tank, even better than at the last laps of the race, because it was difficult. You know, we prepared the bike for the first laps, and it was nice. It was nice to feel strong at the beginning, nice to overtake many riders, a lot of contact. I think it was good moves, and I can wait to win the next race, sure.
Thanks very much, Maverick. Thanks to all three of you. Questions from the floor, please.
Oh, thank you. Question to you, Mark. From outside, it looked like a video game, and even for the spectators, it was physical to watch. How was it physically for you during the whole race?
Honestly speaking, physically was not very demanding, because was one part of the race that we were very slow. Because the problem is that it was so difficult to attack and defend on the same moment. Because as soon you try to prepare the exit, for example, when Rins overtook me, on that lap I tried to prepare the exit to have the slipstream and overtake Lorenzo, but immediately as soon that you prepare for attack, then somebody overtake you. So it was so difficult for the concentration, try to attack and defend on the same time. But yeah, especially where was more difficult was in the last 5 laps, because I give everything, and then I start to be tired on the last lap. But for physical condition, even on the practice, I was very consistent, and it was not a problem.
A question about the tires to all three of you. You, Mark, chose the soft tire, which was a surprise after the last races. You, Maverick, chose the soft, although Yamaha suffered in the past. And you, Alex, were expecting that also the hard can be not very good in the last part of the race, but finally you did a good race. What was the situation with the asphalt and the tires?
Yeah, it was strange, because normally on the last races we go to the hard and everybody with the soft, and the race opposite. Many people with the hard and we were with the soft. But this time, if you check a little bit deeply the tire allocation, the softer in some points were harder than the hard. I mean, yeah, it's like this. It's something that sometimes is difficult to understand, but the softer in some areas was harder than the hard tire, and for that reason I chose the soft, because I feel better in a few corners, and then yeah, even with the hard I was able to be fast, but I feel more drop.
In my case, with the hard one, I was feeling much better, no? And you know, yesterday on the qualifying, I was trying to be strong on the first laps, for trying if it's getting hot fast. And you know, it's strange, no, that many riders are riding with the soft and many riders with the hard one, but you know, I was feeling a little bit easier, no, to control the grip, to control the spin with the hard, and we chose the hard one.
Finally, it's about feeling. It's about feeling, because tires are great right now with Michelin, especially on the rear have really good grip and consistent, so it's all about feeling bike. If you prefer to have a little bit more turning or more stability, so it's about just feeling both tires work pretty well. I tried also the hard in FP2 and was great. So it's just more about feeling than nothing more.
Again, a question for all three riders. It was a fantastic race. It was a fantastic race to watch. Why was it so close? Was it is it the layout of the racetrack? Was it the tires? Was it the wind? The conditions?
The conditions of the racetrack, of the weather, especially the wind. I mean, before the race, we were speaking with the team, and in the papers, I have better pace than everybody. But I say to them, it will be difficult to open a gap because when you are behind somebody on this racetrack and plus the wind that was very strong, then it was easier. I mean, you were like in the fast corners, you were like half gas and same speed, so it was so difficult to open a gap. And then Lorenzo was leading the race, but for me was the main reason the wind.
In my case, I think that the kind of track, no, with a lot of fast corners, also plus the wind, no, was a little bit higher than the rest of the days. This one is the problem, no, the problem for be a lot of riders on the front, but you know, like this is more fun.
Yeah, I think is the point of reference here, as it's really fast track. When you have some riders in the front, it's easier to make the lap time. And then for sure the strong wind help a lot, because when you were behind was much easier. As soon as I get alone in the front, I start to go wide everywhere and moving a lot the bike. So sure the wind help a lot to stay all the group together.
Question for Mark and a question for Maverick. Mark, you've got a good championship lead now, a win today, and we go to two tracks that are good tracks for you. Does that mean you can breathe a little bit, relax in the championship? And Maverick, you had a good day today, but we've seen Yamaha have great days here before. Does the layout of the track sort of hide the fact that your problems aren't fixed yet?
Yeah, I mean, of course, today, honestly speaking, before the start of the weekend, I say, okay, maybe in the racetrack we will lose some points. But we gain, and we gain a lot. So this doesn't mean that we will relax. I mean, opposite, time to attack, because we are in a distance that is big, but not enough. I mean, I want more and more, and this is the way, and try to keep the same mentality, try to keep the same level. But it's important that in a track that in the past Yamaha was very strong, and we were struggling, I was able to be there, and I was able, especially on the practice, more on the race that, on the practice I was able to have the best pace, and then on the race, when I was leading in the last laps, even with the wind and everything, I was able to ride in 34 low again, so this is the most important.
I think the track helps a lot, because it's a good track for me. I know how to go fast here in Assen. But anyway, I hope the problems are fixed. Still on the electronic we need to improve a lot, because compared the opponents I think we are far. But anyway, we are on a good way. I think the way we worked this weekend was the correct one, working a lot for the race, not for one lap. Usually we were faster in qualifying than, the result was better on Saturday than Sunday, and here totally the opposite. So we need to keep working like that, improving step by step. Hope in the summer break Yamaha can bring something big and we can have the chance to fight for the title.
I have a question for Mark, and also for all three of you, if that's possible. Mark, when you were leading the race, at any time in the race, was there a moment that you thought this is predictable, or couldn't you think what the outcome of the race would be? And did anybody of you three see what happened between Lorenzo and Rossi when they touched each other, or when Rossi ran into the back of Lorenzo? Yeah,
about the first question, I don't know. I cannot answer because I didn't see. But and about the second question, about the first question, of course, here one of the problems is that what I explained. When I tried to lead the race in the beginning, but here with the new tire, everybody was able to be fast, and we see on the qualifying practice that was so tight the lap times. And was impossible to open a gap, and especially because if I was using my lines, then everybody was overtaking me, because I was going very wide in all the corners. But then the most important point is that when remain 4 laps, more or less, I see plus 0.2. then I say, okay, now I will use my lines and I will prepare well the exits, and that was the most important point. When just I ride in the same way like in the practice, was the same lap time. So was easier but faster. So that was the key.
About the overtake with Lorenzo, sincerely I don't know. I had a lot of work to keep my position and to do my race, so I don't see nothing.
Well, actually, I was like a horse race. I was just focusing to be in the front as soon as I can because I felt really good on the rhythm, and I didn't watch it. I only was hoping that some overtake and then I could go in, but I didn't saw it.
A question to Alex. So Alex, could you explain what you have found on your bike and what you have found on yourself that you could now finally make the step to the very top, and what racetracks you expect that you could maybe repeat this result?
Since Qatar, we are going very fast. In all the tracks, I was able to not riding on the first positions, but riding with the front group in a lot of tracks. But I did the small mistakes, and then I was crashing. Now I try to keep more the calm, especially on this track. Suzuki, they bring a new engine with a little bit more speed on the top. That helps us a little bit on the straight. And that's all. I think that all the races are coming will be great for us, and I will try to give my best in every race. We know that on Friday we suffer a little bit, but I will try to be on the front all the maximum races I can.
Question for Mark. Mark, there is a Honda, Suzuki and Yamaha here on the podium. What about the Ducati? What have you seen in the race? Can you give some comments about the Ducati?
Yeah, I mean, maybe here Ducati didn't use his stronger point because they have a very good acceleration and they have a very good brake point. And here we don't have a lot of hard brake points, and the accelerations is about flowing. I mean, it's not the most important point. So yeah, but even like this, when Lorenzo was leading, in some points they were very, very strong, even with Dobby. I don't know what happened with Dobby in the end, because when we were in the middle of the race, when we were fighting, was one of the, I see everybody, and I see that Lorenzo was suffering a little bit more, but I say, okay, Dobby have a potential. So I was worried about Dobby because I expect that he will be faster in the end. And then about the other bikes, Suzuki, Yamaha. I mean, in this racetrack, is not very, very important the bike. It's more important how to manage, and especially because the race was slow. I mean, we were riding in 35 many laps, and it was 1 second from the good pace.
Could you talk a little bit about on a day like today, on a track like today, how much it's about the technique and the machine versus how much it is mentally between your ears and the way that you can think around the track to arrive at the victory?
Of course, always is a compromise, but in some racetracks maybe the machine is more important. Some racetrack you can absorb some problem from your bike. But especially when you have this kind of races that was a lot of wind, was a slow race, everybody with different tires, everybody tried to manage in a different way, and a big fight, then it's more riders make the difference because you need to be so precise how to attack, when to attack, where to overtake, when you need to defend your position, and it was so difficult, but yeah, is the best of MotoGP, that still the rider is, I mean, the bike is important because if not on the, but the rider is more important than the machine.
A question for you, Mark. The fact that the Ducatis were so very strong here at what is normally quite a difficult track for them. That must make you worried for the tracks coming up, because the Ducati is also strong at their strong tracks, and now they also seem to be a bit stronger at their weak tracks. But then again, so do you.
Of course, since last year, the second part, Ducati is strong everywhere. I mean, when you see Valencia, for example, that Ducati they were strong. There they were in the front group. Now Ducati is working well. But the most important point is that just I checked the papers, and our worst result this year is a second place. And in a tracks that we struggle, we are there in the podium. So this is the most important. But yeah, Ducati will be very strong in the second part of the season, because have a race tracks that they are very, very fast. But yeah, at the moment Andrea is 61 points behind me, so we will try to manage in a good way.
Okay, that's it. Oh no.
Maverick, I mean, you had a strong race, but you only finished on the podium. It's been 18 races, a whole season since the last Yamaha win. Do you think that the longest period since I think 2002 or 2003, do you think this is enough to convince Yamaha that they need to bring a big update?
Well, we are trying. We are trying the best, for sure. We are working really hard. And as I said, we are trying to build a bike that I can work well in the races. Because last year was so easy to go fast, so easy. But this year, it seems to be a little bit more complicated with the bike, with the setup, especially for the race. But anyway, yes, for sure they are working hard. We all have the desire to win, so we're going to try the best, for sure.
Mark, Alex, Maverick, thank you very much. Well done. We'll see you in Sachsenring.